up, YouTube world? Jake here. Got a little something new today. Well, new to me. This is my very first SGC reveal. This is a group of cards, some stuff I was collecting. I've kind of decided that I want to try something new, maybe a little more special to me for 2025. So a few of these I wanted to get graded just so I could add them to my eBay store. And there's also a few that are for my personal collection stuff that I wanted to get slabbed up. Just, I don't know. I like having my stuff slabbed. I'm not the biggest grading snob in the world, but there are cards to me that I want to keep for a long time, so I'd like to protect them. I like to properly identify them because I like some weird stuff. So that's my main reason. And then if I do change my mind, there is always that. It's a little bit easier when they're properly identified, authenticated, and you know exactly what you're selling. So that's a thing. Um, I don't know. So as far as grading goes, I've done PSA. I've actually done CGC. I've never done SGC. Why is that? Well, I wanted to. I really did. I've always wanted to. They have the best customer service, best turnaround time. Just they seem to care about the collector. I think PSA has gone the route of caring about the flipper, caring about themselves. They don't care about the collector, which is ironic because it's named Collectors. The parent company is Collectors. And Nat Turner's a big collector. Nat Turner's also a businessman, and businessmen are more about money than anything. He uses his money that he makes to play and buy the cards that he wants, but it's still money. Anyway, I have taken a peek at these. I am excited. I'm really excited, actually. I've seen a million of these reviews. I got some of my favorite cards in here slabbed. Some things I've been holding on to for a while. And there's two cards specifically that I'm excited about. Not gonna lie, I have taken a peek. Now, man, it looks like On Top is one of the two I'm excited about. Look at that. Not terrible. It's actually beautiful. So, this is the one thing that held me back from SGC is these black borders. Black borders with the black frame kind of get, I don't know, they don't look as good. They don't pop as well as I would hope. They're not terrible. Not the worst thing ever. I don't hate it. But the black borders with the black frame just kind of blend together. Anyhow, this is one of the cards I have been holding off on getting graded because I knew I wanted to keep it forever because it meant something to me. I like stuff that means something to me. And this is Mr. Grow. So I grew up in a small town and then moved around nearby the Cincinnati area. And so celebrity sightings. So celebrity sightings aren't, the biggest thing in the world. You don't see it. When you do, it maybe go to a concert, things like that. So, when you do, you remember those kind of things. Well, my buddy and I went to a Red Hot Chili Peppers concert. Goodness, this must have been 24 years ago, probably 2000, I would guess, year 2000. And the opening act was the Foo Fighters. Now, the Foo Fighters had already had a few hits. We knew we were going. It was going to be an awesome concert, both bands we wanted to see. But I didn't realize that the Foo Fighters actually ran that day. The opening act, it's not often that the opening act win the day, but the Foo Fighters, in my opinion, won that day. But the coolest part of that day was when Dave Grohl came playing his guitar through the crowd, right down the aisle. My buddy and I were sitting in, and we both got to give him a hug. So that moment has stuck with me for a long time, probably always will. So it's just something that I'm really excited to have. It's a personal item, and that's kind of the best to me. That's what I like to collect. I've narrowed it down over the years, trying to refine my collection to things that are personal and that actually, elicit some kind of feeling. So the Dave Grohl, that's a 1994 Ultra Figus rock cards. I think they're from Argentina. and it's an 8. I was not expecting to get a good grade like that, so I'm super stoked. Oh, actually, my bad. There's part 2 to that story. Part 2, a few years later, after, that awesome experience, I moved out to California. I went to school to be an audio engineer. I got an internship, blah, blah, blah. So one day I'm sitting in there, the receptionist at a recording studio, and who knocks on the door? I open it up, and there he is, Dave Grohl. Second encounter with Mr. Grohl in, a couple of years. I was 22, 23 at the time, so by the time I was 25, I ran into Dave Grohl twice. Not only was he the drummer from Nirvana, started the legendary Foo Fighters, but I ran into this man twice, and so he always has a special part of my life. But that's enough rambling about Mr. Grohl. Let's see what else we got. Ooh, this one's cool. This one I'm a little disappointed in. I thought it was going to get better. It's clean. This is 1977. This is the Tops, the Mexican version, released in Mexico. You can see, instead of Steelers, it's the Acerubs. I don't know how that translates. I wish I knew more Spanish. But it's Mean Joe Green, the steel curtain. I thought this card was so clean. I thought I was going to get a good grade. Ooh, now that I can see it, there's a little mark right there when the light hits it right. But outside of that, that thing's beautiful. I was able to get a 4, which is super cool. I just thought it's cool. I like unique. You can get 1977 Tops all day, but the versions that came out of Mexico, that is another story. Thought that was super cool. A little bit of a crease that you can't even tell, but look at the centering. Corners are pretty solid. That one's a little soft down there. I just thought that was a beautiful card, and I really did not notice that crease, but I'm also not the best at grading. All right, next. Another one that I thought just had great centering, great eye appeal. It was an impulse purchase. I've always been a fan of Pee Wee Reese. I don't know. Maybe it's the Jackie connection. I just thought he was one of the cooler guys. Maybe it was the name. I don't know. I never got to see him play, but he's always been a guy I was attracted to. And I love the image on this card. I love the centering. Ended up getting a 4, which I'm pretty happy with. It's perfectly centered. Nice image. I mean, that's right up my alley. I may end up keeping this. It doesn't really fit into the current mold of my collection, but we'll see. I don't know. And this one, this is me. I'm weird. This is the 1930 J.A. Patriot. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Dirt bike riders and Jack Barnett. As you can see, the Barnett collection is the name of my collection. It's my family name. So I just find it intriguing to find these pre-war guys that share a last name with me. They're few and far between. And kind of see the accomplishments that my family name went through. Now, I'm still in the process of learning about it. I don't know the most. I know he was an English rider. He was famous at his local track and around the area they all raced. So I thought that was really cool. English roots. Pretty cool. Sportsman. That's Jack Barnett. That'll be on my IG page, pinned at the top with my other pre-war Barnetts. I do pre-war because there's just a lot of them after the 60s and 70s, so it's not as fun. The pre-war, you get to see some just unique things. And it gives me a new avenue to explore. This is another one. Just a nice centered example. The corners have a little bit of wear. You can see, but a 4.5. That's my kind of card. Perfectly centered. Little centering, or little corner damage, but this is from 1962. That's what? That's 62 years ago, if my math is right. It's a 62-year-old card. It has survived. It's Clemente. It's my first Clemente, believe it or not. No, actually, it's my second. I have a 71. I just like the example. I like centering. It's just enough wear. This is right up my alley for grade. It's another one that doesn't fit the collection, so I may end up selling, but look at that. Let me put Mr. Barnett over here. Before I cover him up, modern got me. I'm not a modern guy, but I really like these Bob Ross. The Ricky with the color match. These are numbered out of 75. I forget the name of it, but I just love this card. I had to add it to the collection. All right, another. This is 1939 Reds, Cincinnati Reds team set. I'm spacing on how it was issued, but it was, a pre-war. It was a set dedicated to the Reds. I'm in Cincinnati. My goal at that time was to collect pre-war Reds cards. It's a clean example, good centering. I love the high leg kick. That's kind of why I bet on it. Peaches Davis, just the image itself, I loved. I'm not sure if I'll keep it. It doesn't really fit the collection. A lot of these things I do love, but I've made a decision that I may talk about later that all of this has to go in order to get what I want. And what I want is pretty big, and there's a reason I want it. So a lot of the smaller stuff will have to go, even if it's cool stuff like this that I'm enjoying. Oh, next. And this is a T205. I was doing pre-war Reds. This is Harry Gaspar. This is my only T205. I wanted an example. I was gonna do team sets of all the T sets of all the different Reds, and I still might, but I think I can do that later on. My criteria was I didn't want any creases through the face. I wanted to be able to see the face. The rest of the card can look, a little banged up. They're 1911. This is 113 years old, almost 114 years old. A little banged up does not bother me as long as it's not like wadded up. I don't want creases through the face. But love this card. This is Harry Gaspar, T205, the gold border. Will probably be available. I think I can get these cards back. What I'm saving for is not something that I will do very often in my life if I ever do it again. So that's why I'm going to let some of these go. Another one was my T206, Billy Campbell. So my goal for the T206, I wanted to collect all the Reds players, but I wanted each one to have a different back. So this was the old mill back. A little bit of staining, but I like that. That's what I like. Not perfectly centered, but the image is clean. I love the image on this. I love the coloring on it. No major creases. The corners are rough. There's a little staining. There's a crease at the bottom down there. But the image is clean, and that's what matters to me. All right. Next, we have Mr. Bob Bescher. Bob Bescher. This is the Hands in the Air variation, another T206, and this is the Sovereign. Sovereign, this is the Sovereign 460 to be more exact. I think there's a 350, 460, so 460 subjects. So different releases from different years. I'm not the expert by any means, but I know I wanted to collect the different Sovereign backs of the 350, 460, so on and so forth. A little creasing right across there, but it doesn't take away. When it's up on the wall, you can't even see it. You got to hold it like this. And so perfect T206 for me. This is one that I was just watching YouTube and I saw these and I'm like, oh, that's super cool. These are Cuban issued. It's 1945-46 Carmelo Deportivo. Dick Sisler. Just someone I'd heard of. A lot of those guys I'd not heard of. I guess Americans used to go down there to get some real competition in the off season and try to improve their game to get to the major leagues. And Dick Sisler was one of them. I thought that was cool. It's Cuban. Fun fact: the family moved away, and we did not, unfortunately, keep up with them. I was a small child, but my mom actually was best friends with a Cuban lady who was my godmother. So I don't know if that. It's just a weird thing that I like. I think it's cool. So a Cuban issued card kind of spoke to me of a player I'd heard of. It's really cool. These are all low grade, but just having an example is kind of what I think is cool. A little bit of tape, you know. It came out of tobacco pack, so the staining is normal. This is another. I was really into the tobacco stuff, and this popped up, and it went super cheap. So I like the ornate design. I like the wood graining, the bat, ball, glove, the old glove. It's an impulse purchase. It's a 1912 Imperial Tobacco. It's a C46 set, and William Collins. Don't know who he is, from Newark. I just had never seen a card from this set. It was cheap, and I wanted to add it to my collection. I was really into the pre-war. I still love it. I just, to get what I want, it may have to go. We'll see. I love all these cards. These were all bought at one point for PC, but I've started to thin out the PC this year. This card. This card's funny. It's my Oscar Robertson, 7172 Oscar Robertson. Evidence of trimming. I don't know. I bought this from my LCS. Oscar was a Cincinnati legend, so I wanted to add an Oscar card. I don't know. FOMO. I have a lot of FOMO. That's a thing. And Oscar, I don't know. I didn't really. I wanted to get graded. I'd sell it. I'm not really attached to it. Maybe I'll find the one with he's in the Cincinnati Royals jersey. That would be a little bit better. But it came back evidence of trimming. So I bet my LCS did not know that when I bought it from him. But it's still a little disappointing. But at least the next guy will know. Hopefully they do the right thing and leave it in that case and not try to pawn it off on somebody else. All right, this is my T207. You can see a little crease right there, but it still fits my, what I like. There's no creases through the player. You can see the player really well. It's a 2. It's Tom Clark. He Cincinnati. I recruit little cigars back. Just fit everything I need. At lower grade. I'm not made of. I don't have the money to chase the high grade stuff, but having an example without creases with a clean picture, nice borders. That's all I wanted. Twos, ones, if they're clean, if they're good in the right places, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm not the vintage spokesperson, but ones that the creasing is not, bad. It doesn't take away from the image. It doesn't detract. But that's my T207 Tom Clark. This one. So this one's actually for wifey. I doubt she'll watch my channel, but this is a test to see if she does. Why did I get this? It was a ComC purchase. It was a couple bucks, but my wife and her family actually have ties to the Clooneys. They're somewhere in the family tree of the Clooneys. So I thought this was really cool. Rosemary playing the guitar. I love the image. Something for my wife for her lineage. There's, you could see where it was in a album. It was glued to an album, but they got it off pretty clean. I think that tells part of the story. I love the image, and hopefully it'll be a nice little surprise for Christmas. And last but not least, the card that I really, really wanted to add to my collection, and I finally got one. They don't pop up often, and when it did, it was very clean. OC, it is OC. I knew it was OC, but it's super clean. That's my 1979 Warner Brothers Records Bob Marley and the Wailers. This is a pack pull card, so I guess they have little promo packs of different artists. I learned that from the guy selling it. He had bought a collection out in California of a bunch of music promos, like a whole collection, and these were still in the pack. So he pulled it out himself, which made me super excited. Centering's not perfect, but man, this thing was crispy. I knew it would be an 8 probably with the centering. Tad bit of white there. I was hoping for an 8 on a long shot 9, but I was thinking an 8. But it did get a 7, which is still a really good grade. But this is just so awesome. This is one of my favorite cards. There are 2 other Bobs that are a little bit earlier, but they're not full size. They're stickers, Swedish stickers, or Dutch, I'm not sure. This is the only full size card that I know of, the earliest one, and it came out of a pack. So I am ecstatic. This is Forever PC and my favorite card in the order. This and the Girl. These are my two. The Girl and the Barnett. Bob's number one though. Girl's number two. The Barnett, just because it's cool. This card will be in a future order. I will be going back to SGC. This one I picked up after I sent the order out. My Earl Neal. Fun fact: Earl Neal was a Major League Baseball player. He was playing for the Reds here in this picture. But he's actually in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and he has no football cards. So I thought that was super cool. Cincinnati connection. That's one I will hold on to. It's a pre-war that I will not let go. Anyhow, that's what I got today. Thanks for tuning in. It looks a little blurry, but hopefully it's watchable. And I do appreciate you. All right, talk to you later. Until next time. Bye.